Does that say 11th? No, that's just two of them combined. Okay. No, maybe not actually. What? 11,016 meters? I'm now noticing this. That's 11 kilometers. This definitely will make a remake look like a demo. This is gonna be massive. For a long time, over the course of Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out and us seemingly getting no real updates or look as to what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Remake Part 2 at the time would be looking like, we finally got a lot of updates the previous year. However, since then, it's been kind of quiet up until recently. And what I think was really cool was how Square Enix kind of handled it. If you guys recall, we were making videos about this. Basically, they made 7 posts that was essentially a countdown for Summer Games Fest to reveal the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth update and trailer and more of an in-depth look as to what the game will offer. A lot of people weren't believing in or subscribing to this theory. A lot of people said that that essentially is not going to be the case. But I don't know, you know, I mean, seems like we were right. I think it's really cool if we go back and look at what these developer comments brought up and that they were talking about essentially pertain to in the trailer and seeing what exactly questions were answered and showcased to us. If you guys are loving the Final Fantasy VII coverage, this is one of the best channels and places to be for all that stuff. So hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of it, and also help rate that 21% even higher. Now, with that being said, let's get into the video. On June 2nd, which was 7 days, 8-ish days, or 6, 7, or whatever, a couple days before Summer Games Fest, which was June 8th, with developer comment number 1. And the question was, how's development progressing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? To which Katase answered, development is progressing smoothly and according to the plan. We're currently working on nailing down a release date for the game. Which to me essentially means that the original release date, which was supposed to be the winter time, which a lot of people thought it was going to be 2023 winter, is still in effect, but they're going to be pushing it back slightly, which they did confirm here at the end of the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth new trailer, that it will be available early 2024. Early 2024 could be anywhere between January to March, maybe even April, but March 22nd, 2024 is when winter technically ends. So it still falls within that scale, but they obviously had to figure out a better date for that, right? So they answered that in the trailer, which is really dope. And now, number 2, how will players journey through the world outside of Midgar in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Players will be able to journey across the wide and multifaceted world with a high degree of freedom, experiencing a myriad of different stories along the way. Now, this was the most exciting thing. If you go through the trailer, right? The unknown journey continues. Cloud and party seemingly open up a door, and we are introduced to the world of Final Fantasy VII. And seeing all of this kind of made me, I wonder if we could actually access all of that.
It's still going strong.
It may look that way, but in reality,
They give us some story exposition from Red 13, and then the party proceeds to actually walk through this. And the mind-blowing thing is, at first we see a main quest scenario goal quest marker right here. There's a discovery point, which these are like points of interest that aren't necessarily main objectives. They're like side elements that if you do them, they kind of enhance and add a little bit more depth to the story, which is always definitely something that I always try to do, these discovery like quests. I hope there's more of these. 700 meters away, 500 meters, and it just gets even crazier as we like, wait a minute, hold on. There's 400 meters more behind the Chocobo farm, and the main destination is only 50 meters away, which is inside the Chocobo farm that Cloud is going towards. And then right here, it just gets even crazier. This could be a custom waypoint marker. We're on friggin' Chocobos roaming around the world, when the Chocobos have custom commands on top of that, which is cool. And almost 1,200 meters, and it gets crazier.
5 years ago.
The life stream. It is the very essence of our star.
Bunch of different side quests, a myriad of different stories, things to access. Look at this. This could be like Fort Condor area right here. 1,600 meters. It's just, I'm gushing out at the possibilities of how large this world could be and what exactly we could be seeing. And if you guys see right here, once we get Chocobos, we have to kind of keep them initially, because right here on the bottom left, we can call chocobos now. I think I'm gonna keep myself in this spot. Look at this right here. We have a new quest marker now, or a waypoint marker essentially, where this might be like a custom marking where you can select an area on the map to select to go to, that you can mark to go to. And we have our main quest scenario goal and then a discovery point. Dude, look at Midgar in the background right here. This is totally Midgar, way off in the distance. This is probably after we leave Calm. We can actually see just how close-ish they are to it. Junon. Does that say 11th? No, that's just two of them combined. Okay. I was about to say, what? 11,000? But that's just the numbers are just like kind of glitched when they were together. No, maybe not actually. What? 11,000 16 meters? I'm now noticing this. That's 11 kilometers. What the fuck? Bro, I thought they were combining this shit together. Oh my God. This is gonna be massive. So during that scene where we see the 11,000, it's with Yuffie, Cloud, and Red 13 in the party. And out of all of the scenes that we see in the trailer, the party typically has lower health and lower MP. But in the Yuffie fight, the HP is like pretty large in comparison. So this is a much later portion of the story with a destination that seems to be incredibly far away. Journey across the wide and multifaceted world with a high degree of freedom and experiencing a myriad of different stories. So a bunch of different side quests, a bunch of discovery quests as well. And of course you have your main quest scenario of the main story, and the high degree of freedom. 11,000 meters, 11 kilometers, bro. That's huge, man. No kidding, dude. This definitely will make a remake look like a demo. I was hoping that we would get a big, large, open zone type of element to it, and I don't think this is necessarily open world, but to see how friggin' wild and deep they're going with this world, that's blowing my mind, and I'm absolutely excited for that. Shout outs to the team for that. We're only on question number 2 too. And now, a chain of narrative developments that lie at the very heart of Final Fantasy VII story while discovering each character's destiny. Now, previously, my theory was this is gonna be showcasing us a bunch of new destinies, not necessarily the same destinies and storylines that we know of characters. This is essentially bringing this up because things will be different this time around. Elements will be confusing longtime veterans, and we'll be able to theorize what exactly this could mean, which is exactly what is happening. Because if you look through obviously the beginning of the trailer, we're seeing stuff with the a dead party in the Terrier timeline that has been merged. Well, the Beagle party has been merged into the Terrier timeline. Not only that, throughout the entire trailer, Tifa is openly doubting Cloud. She's having doubts about Cloud, whereas in the original Final Fantasy VII, Tifa never brings any of this stuff up at all. It's not until shit hits the ceiling and everything goes a little crazy to when Tifa finally mentions it, and she doesn't mention it to anybody. She mentions it to herself, and we as the player witness it and see that from her inner thoughts. And she's presenting that to Aerith. Yeah, she's thinking about it the whole time. Like we see in the original game, she does have her doubts whenever Cloud is talking about elements from before. They put subtle details in her character model that kind of like move a certain way, where she like is a little uncomfortable because she doesn't understand exactly what he's talking about and how could he know certain things that he wasn't there for. In Remake, they actually do highlight that when he sees her again at the bar and he says it's been 5 years. She doesn't acknowledge it, but she's like, oh, that's weird. But she doesn't say anything about it initially right there. However, in the original game, in the Calm flashback, she does express doubt subtly throughout that entire conversation. And I'll probably be showing scenes on the screen right now in editing, but that is what seems to be going on right now.
5 years, but why come back now? After 5 years, doing who knows what?
And Genova clearly manipulating or like tweaking shit in Cloud's head. And then finally here.
You murdered my dad. You burned my village.
You know that I killed her. So, who is she?
Sephiroth expressing basically, because in the first trailer, right? In the very first trailer, we had, and let me bring it up actually,
I saw you lying there.
right here.
I figured it was too late.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
I don't think Tifa is telling this to Cloud. I think she's talking to somebody else. Most likely, the running theory right now is that it could be Johnny. And when Johnny or like somebody from Remake sees Tifa in the party, they're like, "What are you doing here? How are you alive?" or whatever. And she responds back with that. That sort of like fits that context. I think this is like an out of place mention.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
But now it could be related to this dialogue here that Sephiroth has where he's trying to manipulate Cloud.
You know that I killed her. So, who is she?
Oftentimes in Remake, Sephiroth presents himself to Cloud in his head or his dreams, whatever, and he plants. He basically can have conversations with Cloud and like plant doubts in his mind. That essentially could be a conversation that we just heard right now of Sephiroth with Cloud that nobody else can hear or witness, and maybe Cloud brings that up privately to Tifa, and this is mentioned.
What are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
So many things that could be explained with these narrative like developments, but there's definitely going to be some differences, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting to see just how all of this unfolds and comes together in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then eventually the trilogy, whatever that may that third title may be called, or whatever they might label the series. And now the fourth question that came up for developer comment number 4. Do I need to play Final Fantasy VII Remake to enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? No, we've made preparations so that the players who did not get a chance to play the first game can fully enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Which, as a marketing thing, is pretty smart to do. Typically sequels, I wouldn't say a difficult time selling well. I would just say it's a little bit harder for like new fans to get into because they have to commit to playing the first game and then play this. Ultimately, companies will make more money that way. But straight up with them just saying that, yo, you could just buy Rebirth and play it and enjoy the story still. To me, the calm flashback right here is where they will be basically recapping everything. We'll be seeing all the events broken up and explained to us properly of what happened in Rebirth. Sorry, and what happened in Remake, going through the story for that. And we'll also get a glimpse at the backstory of Cloud, Tifa, Sephiroth in the Nibelheim flashback.
Gone. We fought him. Whatever happened, he's alive.
But why come back now? After 5 years, doing who knows what?
So this entire scene definitely is going to be the intro of Calm, and they will be showcasing to us everything within Remake so that new players can come in to this and kind of get like caught up with what's going on in the story while also not having to go back to Remake. The option is still there. You could go back to Remake and play it and enjoy it and embrace it in that way, but they're designing this, I guess, in a way to where you don't necessarily have to do that and feel like overwhelmed in that aspect. She's expressing so much doubt, and as soon as Cloud, I guess, starts to like question it, we get like a Genova interruption right there. A Genova intermission. But those essentially could be, and very well are, the preparations that they made so that players who did not get to play the first game will be able to fully enjoy Rebirth whenever that does come out. Developer comment number 5. Has the battle system changed from Final Fantasy VII Remake? The answer is, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, new comrades will join you in battle and you can cooperate with other party members in even closer ways than before, which is my absolute favorite thing that they showcased to us in this goddamn trailer. We do get a glimpse at this like party combo mechanic right here that they haven't really introduced yet, but they showed us little glimpses of. But that's what I'm assuming these little like 5 charges are underneath the health bars and the ATB bars, is that we're able to probably access that in order to do team combos and with each other essentially. And you see it expressed a little bit more.
She may be new.
This is really like a cutscene transition right here, where Cloud and Tifa come together to set up a distraction so Elena can get her cheeks clapped by Aerith. they start to showcase to us team combos starting up right here after the Red 13 segment. That's a Tifa and Aerith combo that is just insane. Just creating like a force field of magic, trapping enemies in there, and Tifa is just clapping their cheeks, star showering them left and right. And we see literally party members are fighting closer than ever by Yuffie literally sitting on top of Red 13 and combining together for one big attack, which, as you can see on the bottom right, they've exhausted all of their charges. And that was a Barret and Cloud combo. That essentially is covering the new comrades bit, which is Yuffie, the new comrade, as well as Red 13, and showing how you can cooperate with them even closer than before that you could in Remake. And hopefully we will be seeing more of like Vincent and Sid and Ketchi. More than likely Ketchi will be in here, but they're probably still working on like how to make his combat look, I guess. And now we got developer comment number 6. Many new tracks have been created for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and we will be making some new arrangements of tracks from Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. So there are new tracks that they will be implementing into Rebirth, and they're also making new arrangements. The new arrangement for this one can be heard right here with the Valkyrie theme, which is like a one-off song in Remake that was used for the Valkyrie boss fight. But they're using it in the first friggin' trailer for like the battle segments, which is really cool.
Feast your eyes on the Turk's latest and greatest.
It sounds completely different from the original version, and I love it. I love everything about it. Listen right here. And actually, this is kind of funny. Let me see if I could bring up a tweet that I had made a while ago. So May 17th, I made this tweet talking about how one of my favorite songs that lives rent-free in my head has to be the Valkyrie song from Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's so many emotions packed into this track. It's one of those songs that's immediately going to lift my mood anytime I hear it. The build-up is too damn good. You literally only hear this song in this chapter. That's the only time you hear it. I downloaded the video from the person who posted it, and I posted the link here to give them some credit. The video is from here. So, after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gets its reveal, and then we hear that song, the new arrangement of a previous existing song in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I came back and I was like, yo, did they see this tweet? And said, yo, we're gonna slap this in the Rebirth trailer. Thanks, BltzZ. Because the funniest shit happened when I looked down right here. I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I think they probably did. Because this is a screenshot of when I tried to give this dude credit. It says the video is unavailable, and the YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. My bad, dude. This is the guy that was basically posting all the Final Fantasy VII like remake songs, and in a trolling way saying like, oh, this is not the Valkyrie, like as a funny way to kind of like name it. They definitely did some shit about it. I can't wait to see what other new arrangements they have coming through, because there's a lot of great songs in Remake that are way too good, I think, to just leave them as one-offs, and they should be returning. I think the Airbuster theme should be utilized a little bit more in boss fights. I understand why they opted to create individual new songs for the boss fights, which is pretty cool, and I respect it, but I definitely think Airbuster theme needs to be used a little bit more. Maybe spice it up a bit, right? Add a different style to it. And number 7 developer comment: when can we find out more about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? And literally that same day, Nomura says more information will be revealed soon, which it was, because on June 8th, that is when they released this trailer. Amazing promo week done by the Square Enix team, by Final Fantasy VII Rebirth team. Really was absolutely hype. Every day, dude, 2.3 million views on these posts. Like every single day you're getting like 1 million, 1.8 million, 2 million, 2.4, 1.8, 2, like it just, and on average 2 million people are like tuning in to these posts, or like seeing it, scrolling by it, not interacting with it, which is interesting. Overall, people were paying attention to it, and it really did hype everybody up, and myself as well. I was putting out a video every day to talk about each one and what it could mean, and sure enough, they did exactly what I thought they would do, which is all the green highlighted text inside of the messages are elements that were conveyed and expressed on and explained in the trailer that was revealed soon. We got to see all of that stuff. We got to see the new comrades and how they will be cooperating with each other in battle. We got to see the new arrangements of an old song from Remake, as well as possibly a new one. And more information was revealed soon. They made preparations for the game to be able to be played without playing Remake. Then you have the chain of narrative developments of each character's destiny being explained. High degree of freedom, which was showcased in amazing fashion. And of course, they're working down on nailing a release date, which was the last thing that they showcased to us that made a lot of people a little bit excited. Early 2024. So Square Enix, amazing. GG's in the chat. That was fun. That was a really fun week. What a way to cap off and actually start Summer Games Fest and our trip into LA to enjoy the entire event with everybody. Had a phenomenal time and a blast. And seriously, looking forward to the future of what could be in store for us for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I do hope, fingers crossed, that eventually what they did with Final Fantasy 16, which is an entire event, basically pre-launch celebration, inviting all the creators, a bunch of fans to enjoy and partake in the celebration. I hope that Square Enix sees the value in which the Final Fantasy 16 event did and carries on into doing that for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I think it's an amazing choice. I think it's something that they need to do, and I seriously cannot express enough how big of a deal this will be, regardless of the fact that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is technically the sequel of like the remake series. It is definitely going to be just as big, just as hype as Final Fantasy 16, if not more, because of how dedicated and extreme the Final Fantasy VII fans are. I think Final Fantasy is in a really good spot, and it's going to be very exciting outside of like Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 whenever that comes out. But the series in general, what it looks like, at least from Square Enix, they have very high plans to continue this hype into other releases by remaking other titles and also creating new ones. So ultimately, I think they're using this as a great way to get back to form and bring out amazing games for newcomers and old-time veterans to enjoy. And ultimately, we're all going to be eating good, as if we haven't been already. It's going to continue going forward, and I think we are getting to a really good point for fans all over. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are on the way, and you do not want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.